Hello, this is the Long Island Hawks channel, and at this channel we will be talking about various political issues that the media have not talked about, the mainstream media that is, on Long Island. Now, first and foremost, the first thing that we want to talk about here is the environment. The environment has been largely ignored on Long Island despite various organizations and media painting out Long Island and its politicians as being very friendly to the environment. The most threatened ecosystem on Long Island remains the Pine Barrens. While many organizations, such as the Pine Barrens Society, often pat themselves on the back for protecting the Pine Barrens, the sad truth is the Pine Barrens are still largely unprotected from development. Many Pine Barrens across Long Island, in Suffolk County, now the Pine Barrens in Suffolk County lies in the central part of Suffolk County, in the east central part of it. A very small section of that has been labeled the Core Preservation Area. Now, in this Core Preservation Area, development is strictly forbidden. So is clearing of trees or anything, any disturbance to the environment whatsoever. In the Compatible Growth Area, the Compatible Growth Area is supposed to be for compatible growth, or what's is interpreted as development that would not negatively impact the Pine Barrens ecosystem. But we need to take a look at how towns view that compatible growth area. And the facts say again and again that the towns approve developments that are harmful to these areas. One such town is the town of Riverhead, and that's what we are going to be talking about here in this video, is the town of Riverhead, and how various past administrations and current ones continue to thwart efforts to protect the Pine Barrens. Currently, Riverhead's town supervisor is Sean Walter. Now, something that has always been going on in Riverhead is, for a while now, is the Epcal property. The Epcal is a former Grumman property that was owned by the U.S. Navy that was sold to the town of Riverhead. Much of this property is Pine Barrens and is located in the Core Preservation Area. Yet, plans for development include large developments. So, in the past, they've included a huge ski mountain and various hotels. Now they include more developments, perhaps more housing, more commercial development or retail development. Much of which Riverhead does not need, as there is plenty of commercial and retail development currently. Now, the retail development in Riverhead has gotten out of control. And that's the first thing I actually want to talk about. Route 58 in Riverhead. Now, 15 to 20 years ago, Route 58 was a pretty undeveloped stretch of road. First came the Tanger outlet centers, but that wasn't enough. In addition to the Tangers, they built on farmland, and now there are plans to develop even dwarf the current developments that are out there. There's a property, as you see here, that is located north of Route 58, on the north side of Route 58, across from Tanger. This property, along with the property that is adjacent to it, are largely undeveloped Pine Barrens lands. However, developers have been given the green light by the town of Riverhead to build a super Walmart here, despite the fact there's a Walmart about 3 miles down the road east of this site, and they also want to build a Costco here. This will destroy much of this Pine Barrens habitat. Now, how can they say this doesn't negatively impact the Pine Barrens? We all know that the clearing of trees will disturb the habitats of many endangered species, including the eastern tiger salamander and the short-eared owl. In addition, this development would they've been given permission to clear the entire swath of land. And the runoff from not only the cars, but also the construction materials, and especially the pavement, will go into the Peconic River that is south of here, and into the sole source aquifer, which is our drinking water source here on Long Island. Yet, developments like this continue to be improved. How can they improve such developments when the impacts have already occurred in our pine barrens? We have seen a decrease in drinking water quality. It has been stated on many websites about this decrease in drinking water quality, and it is because of the continued development in our pine barrens. Residential development also plays a huge role, as many areas of pine barrens have been cleared for more McMansions. These are large homes that look largely the same, that have a very large ecological footprint, and often are built cheaply but sold for nearly $1 million to wealthy individuals. And then there's EPCAL. Let's get back to that for a moment. EPCAL is the former Grumman site, and the plans to development are still being floated around. There is much beauty at this site. If you can appreciate how pristine the pine barrens can be and how beautiful they can be, there are many areas, especially grasslands and meadows, surrounded by pine barrens, which are very important for a habitat for many birds, butterflies, as well as the short-eared owl and the red-tailed hawk. And yet, development is still being pushed in this area. And it gets even worse. After Hurricane Sandy, the Riverhead inked a deal to move Sandy-damaged cars. These are cars that were in flood zones that were damaged by the floodwaters to the runways on this EPCAL site. Now what happens is they have not talked about the fact that these cars may be leaking fluids. They will be stored there for up to 6 months or longer before they are auctioned off. In that time, fluids and also materials from the cars will wind up in the surrounding environment. Even if parked on runways, the oil and chemicals will run off into the sole source aquifer underneath our pine barrens, as well as into the surrounding environment. It could also be ingested by various wildlife, such as white-tailed deer and the white-footed mouse. Yet, this has been approved by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. The Pine Barrens Commission has not acted on stopping this. On top of this, cars have been stored on ground and on grasslands at the EPCAL site that will directly and easily wind up in our drinking water supply. Most of these fluids probably haven't been drained out, and it's not just that. Many of these cars were flooded by sewage-contaminated waters, so who knows what kind of disease will wind up in our pine barrens as well. Yet, media outlets seem to think it's okay. Nobody seems to be speaking up. Well, that's why I'm here, to speak up against these issues, and you can look forward to more videos about this and other Long Island political issues here at this channel. Thank you for watching.